Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, now we decided to do it in the street. Now, there is a topic that I've been thinking about here. Yesterday, the Deputy President was in Mount Kenya, and he said something, and he told President Ruto that in the bipartisan talks team, they should ensure that they drop the push for the server to be open. So, I'm standing here with a gentleman. He will going to introduce himself na ataongea Kiswahili, and so today I'm gonna try some good Swahili. Yeah, so I want him to give us his opinion. We also want to know what Kenyans are thinking. Do you think, bro? Sasa
salama sana.
Naitwa nani?
Mimi najulikana kama Masinde.
Masinde. So Masinde, Gachagua anasema server isifunguliwe. Wewe unaonaje?
Mimi kwa upande wangu, wa Kenya wenzangu, kusema ukweli, naweza sema kitu kimoja ambayo sisi watu wa Kenya ambao wako chini tumeumia sana. Kwa sababu tumeona rais wetu akiongea pale na pale. Tumeona Gachagua ambao ni vice president wetu anaongea pale na pale. Lakini kitu cha muhimu sana, sisi tungependelea kama hii ni serikali ya ukweli kabisa jamani. Cha ajabu sana tungependa tuone ukweli, kwa sababu hii kitu imesumbua Kenya for a long time. Imesumbua wa Kenya sana. Kwa nini hawawezi kujua ukweli? Na kwa nini hawawezi pata kujua ukweli kabisa? Na mimi nasema sisi tunakubali tufunguliwe saba, kwa sababu sisi wananchi ndio sisi tunasema tulepeleka wale jamaa huko ambao ni president wetu William Ruto. Lakini mimi kama mwana Kenya nimelia sana kulingana na shida ambayo tuko. Wakenya tuko na shida mingi sana. Shida ya kwanza ni kazi.
Lakini server italeta kazi.
Server italeta ukweli. Baadaye italeta kazi.
Lakini kileta ukweli ipate kwamba Rais Ruto, kwa sababu ukweli ambao unaweza kuwa tofauti labda ni kwamba Rais Ruto alishindwa, itakuwaje?
Mimi kusema ukweli, ili mimi nataka niongo kweli yangu wa ndani kabisa. President William Ruto, hata sorry kumita president, unajua tuko na prefect na tuko na present na tuko na prefect. Sasa naweza sema Ruto ni prefect. Lakini Ruto ni prefect. Lakini president ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Kwa sababu
Raila si president lakini.
Raila yani mimi napenda kusema ukweli.
Sawa.
Ukweli ndio huu.
Sawa.
Kama Ruto alijua alishinda kura ukweli jamani. Kusema ukweli, walai kusema ukweli. Angesema basi kama ni ukweli basi tufungueni saba tuone ni nani ni mshindi, ili tuwapate kuendesha Kenya kama kawaida vile imewekwa. Lakini sasa kwa kama hii server iweze kufunguliwa, inamaanisha hata zile nchi zingine kama Amerika, sasa tuko na hiyo shida ya server ndio iko kwa dunia. Inasumbua kila watu. Ukienda Tanzania, ukienda Uganda, ukienda Amerika, imeleta shida sana. Hata wale ambao waliotengeza hii kitu lazima pia waitwe, pia wawekwe chini, watu waambie ni nini kunaendelea huko duniani. Kwa sababu wale ambao kule duniani wanalia sana, mpaka wale wazungu wenyewe. Na ukiangalia Ghana wanalia sana. Ndio kwa sababu hawa viongozi wetu jamani, mimi nawaambia ukweli, tumbe imekuwa kubwa zaidi kuliko ukweli, na pesa imekuwa mbele kuliko ukweli. Kama Kenya kila mtu ananunuliwa. Usiponunuliwa huwezi kaa. Na ukikubali kununuliwa utafanya kazi na njia ya uongo, yani njia ya mkato. Hata siku hizi Wakenya wenzangu, Wakenya anaogopa Mkenya mwenzake, juu anajua atamuibia. Ndio unaona siku hizi tunaita Wakongo wanakuja, tunawaandika kazi mpaka yule Mkenya asili mwenye boma yeye anasauliwa. Kwa sababu ya nini? Ukienda kwa ofisi unapata ni wageni. Wewe uko unatembea tu kwa nchi yako, tunatembea lakini hujui unaenda wapi. Mwingine anatoka kule anakuja, anachukua kazi na wewe umekaa hapo. Yaani sasa Kenya Mkenya anaogopa Mkenya mwenzake hata kwa kazi. Sasa mbona niko naona kama dunia inaweza sikia hii maneno wa jameni. Hii mambo ya server hii. Tungeanza na Kenya kwanza, tuanze na Kenya kabla tujaenda kule uzunguni. Tuanze na Kenya. Wale wenye watengeza hii server wakuje watupatie ukweli kabisa, tupate kujua vile mambo kunaendelea. Kwa sababu watoto kwa tunapanga laini kila siku. Tunapanga laini kutoka hapa mpaka huko. Alafu naye inakuwa absent. Kile ambao imewekwa sasa haiwezi kutataliwa ipate kwa nini iko kule ndani.
Tingimalo. Hapo.
Lakini content ni okay.
Dua kapenya mateni. Now, so Masinde is saying about the server needs to be opened because they want to know the legitimate winner. And of course, all of us want to know the legitimate winner. So the question has been, Why the U-turn? Because the bipartisan talks team initially had agreed that the issue of the audit of the last presidential election is going to be included as one of the issues to be addressed by the bipartisan talks team. And it has already been gazetted, not gazetted, but it has already been laid out. The technical team and the secretariat had agreed. But they decided to take William Ruto to Mount Kenya yesterday and made that statement. I want to say here is, before people go to talk in a rally, there is normally what is called the brief. In that brief, leaders organize themselves and say, so and so you are going to speak about this, so and so you are going to speak about this, and so you are going to speak about this. So it is not true that what Rigathi Gachagua was saying was just something out of the moon. It is something they sat down, they had agreed that Rigathi must talk about it, and of course it's a deliberate. It's a message that William Ruto himself was relaying, that in those other talks team, in the talks, the issue about the server, the issue about the audit of the last presidential election, they want it to be dropped. I want to tell you very critical, clear reasons why this is happening, why this change of heart. Before that, remind you, I have to do a reminder about top mark movers. If you're moving your office items or your household items from one place to the other, then you need a reliable company that is going to guarantee you safety, affordability, and they're very flexible so that they can be able to move anywhere, any part of this country. Contact top mark movers here, and the amazing news is now they have a website. It's growing. Visit www.topmarkmovers.com, or you can also contact them. Their number is +254 719 17 43 93. Topmark Movers, they are saying quality is everything. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 reasons. Mambo ni matatu. The reason why the audit of the last presidential election is being dropped, why Kenya Kwanza wanted to be dropped, is not what people are thinking, that if it is done, it can bring a different results. Government has all the machineries and all the influence. They are at the center of the influence. And even if the ballots, those ballots of 2022 are to be recounted now, they can still be recounted and they arrive at a decision that William Ruto won the elections. That's possible. Number 2, they can audit and even open that server and they still arrive at a decision and find out that the real votes, that the votes there still depict what Chebukati announced. So they have a way, if they want to end this conversation at the server, they can do it and still show what it is. But what William Ruto do not want is a situation where the country is having a discussion about 2022 presidential election, especially the system. What William Ruto wants, and the reason why they want this is because they want the 2022 system to be used in the 2027 and future election. If the portal system, that system, that this election system that Chebukati used, it was a pilot on how elections can be rigged here in Kenya, then who would want it to be changed? Tell me, who would want it to change? It's because they still want to ensure that the rogue system is used in the next general election. Second reason, Europe is having a lot of influence in elections in Africa. Europe is having a lot of influence. And the way they are planting leaders, or rather imposing leaders in Africa, is different. If they don't stage a coup, like in West Africa, elections are done, and then after elections, they stage a coup. Russia is staging coup in West Africa. In the East and Central, in the East Africa and the South, there have been of ballot infiltration. There was an election recently in Zimbabwe. there was ballot infiltration, where those from the opposition wings did not even vote. They were harassed, hounded out of polling stations, and there were a lot of election malpractices. In Kenya, what is happening? Ruto is Mr. Nice for the West, and there is a bit of neo-colonization. The neo-colonization has taken the shape of election infiltration. So the reason why they don't want to have this is because if a discussion audit of presidential election here after an election or opening of the server is something that is done and maybe the results come out, what will happen to other African countries? What will happen in Zimbabwe? What do you think our neighbors here in Uganda? I am one person that believed that Bobby Wine gave Sebo a run for his money. It might have even won that election. And they know very well that if you make that blunder in this country, Kenya, and a summit and audit is done, then it comes out clearly that Raila won, then all you're going to open a Pandora box. That Pandora box, push for it to be opened, is going to happen in the next general election, or rather in the other African countries. Lastly, it might not be about the presidential election. It might not be about Raila won. But any slight change, any slight difference in results will result in discrediting that election. I want to explain it this way. My practical outcome, if the server is opened today, might be that yes, William Ruto is ahead of Raila Odinga. But that gap might be different, might be a difference not what Chebukati announced. It might be a difference of around some few, maybe 50,000 or 20,000 votes. Okay, you might do that and then realize that has happened. What will happen? Or even if the difference is some 2,000 votes or even 5,000 votes, any slight difference between what the server might give and what Chebukati announced will be a full vote of no confidence on William Ruto administration. That will be a vote of no confidence. And that is why they're realizing that, look here, what we are saying is impractical. And again, it is also not very easy to just open the server and realize that it's true. They might then re-audit, and they want to put 2022 general election in a closure. Let me tell you, if the server is opened today, and this is my other reason, is open today, and that audit is done, and it comes to a conclusion that 2022 general election did not go on well, what will it happen? It will give an impetus for Raila Odinga to stage 2027 presidential contest against William Ruto. So they'll want to run. And of course, you know, there's been the fight about legitimacy, whether I have the legitimacy. So ladies and gentlemen, I see that is why William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua is not speaking his mind. And he also knows very well that if this is said, probably Azimio can go back to the streets. I don't think Azimio will go back to the street for the server, for the audit of the presidential election. The only thing that can take Azimio to the street is if government holds that they are not going to include the cost of living. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. Let's meet in the next podcast. Thank you.